Hello, my name is Josh Lee.
And my name is Kanoliso Gamba.
And I'm Brennan Sullivan, and our group today is going to be talking about climate change's effect on novel predation and prey. Since the 1980s, climate change has increased the ocean temperatures at an unprecedented level. Fish from equatorial regions have been moving poleward, leading to native species facing novel competition and predation. In Maine, where bass and cod have shown signs of resurgence due to more migrant predators becoming residents, ecologists have experimented and showed that the cod and bass reduce the foraging activity of the lobsters. Population thinning of economically important species, such as the Maine lobster, can have dramatic ramifications. Experts of Business Insider have noted that the price of lobster is going up thanks to changing water temperatures. Like the lobsters, other native fish will be confronted by never-before-encountered competition due to climate change. Ecologists have shown that introduction of novel predators can lead to high mortality rates in prey, which increases the risk of becoming endangered or locally driven to extinction.
Hence, we wanted to help naive prey fish to survive new predators through an intervention. Prey fish, like all fish, are subject to a behavioral process known as latent inhibition, where threat cues that are not accompanied by a corresponding real-life danger are eventually ignored. Basically, latent inhibition is analogous to the fable of the boy who cried wolf. In the fable, a boy cries out that he has seen a wolf and all the townspeople rush to his aid, but there is no wolf. The next time the boy cries out that there is a wolf coming for him, fewer people respond and still there is no wolf. Eventually, the boy actually encounters a wolf, and when he calls for help, nobody comes to his aid and he is killed. Like the people, the fish will no longer be alarmed by the cues of the predator if they have been conditioned to think there is no real danger. For an example of this in reality, here are some videos. Here, the fish are staying stationary and clumping together further in an inefficient way that is representative of latent inhibition. This is an example of behavior that we seek to change. In this video, the school of fish is actively evading the predator because it has come to associate the predator with negative consequences. This evasion and avoidance behavior is something our training would try to promote. Our intervention focuses on the conditioning of fish to prevent the onset of latent inhibition by exploring the effectiveness of a training regime that instills fear in prey fish, so that the naive fish will learn to avoid predators when they detect predator cues. The model species we intend to work with is a fathead minnow. We chose the minnow because of their trophic level in the food chain, and there are a lot of prior experimental trainings that have been done to influence their behavior. Furthermore, the fathead minnow is a relatively inexpensive and unimportant fish economically. We hope that by showing the minnows can be trained to avoid novel threats, we will show a proof of concept to justify beginning training on fish species that matter globally. Our training introduces minnows to novel predator cues. The cue is a lifelike dummy along with the scent of that species, resembling those of the novel predators, such as cods and bases. The proposed punishment would be using a net to grab the minnows that get too close to the dummy and removing them from the water for a short period of time. The shock of being removed from the water will create a negative association for the prey of the predator, causing them to react fearfully and carefully when they are exposed to the real predator. By doing this, we will prepare the prey population for the eventual appearance of the novel predator in nature.
At first glance, this training regime may seem small-scale, and you might be asking yourself, why bother? It turns out that latent inhibitory effects can be passed down from generation to generation. We may only need to train small numbers of fish to begin producing entire populations of trained ones. Moreover, since latent inhibition is a staple of all fish species, the ability to train the minnows will give us solid evidence that our training regime works. Initially, our experimentation will take place in a lab setting, but if successful, we hope to quickly adapt our training for use in the ocean. A possible start for the training of economically valuable species in the field would be among wild salmon populations in the Gulf of Maine. In the long term, we hope to lessen the impact of alien predators on native prey species as global warming allows them to migrate to new areas previously outside their normal range. If successful, the education system we develop would be used to preferentially train economically valuable prey species as a means to indirectly lessen the economic disaster that could result from prey species' populations experiencing significant losses due to latent inhibition. With your help, we can start figuring out how to save the fish we all love from being driven to extinction tomorrow, today.